you. So today I'm gonna show you how I made this animation or this simulation using the Easy RB Pro add-on. It's quite very easy technique. I will not focus on the textures or modeling of this container, but I'm just going to show you the technique how I filled it with these tennis balls and how I break the glass. Okay, so let's start a new project. Okay, so we have this new project and we have this sphere. It's just a normal sphere with tennis texture, with tennis ball texture. You can download any, you can use any ball you want, but for my case, I want to just use this one. So what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna do a quick modeling for that container. Let's add a cylinder and let's scale it like this, move it down a little bit, scale it, and we're going to go right here into edit mode, extrude it up a little bit. Now extrude it one more, and extrude it uh, like this, and extrude it down a little bit like this. Okay, now we can select this face, extrude it like this. Okay, I think we have very good shape. You can add a bevel modifier to make it a little bit smooth. Okay, let's add 3 segments and shade it to smooth or auto smooth, I mean, and let's make it like this. Okay, apply the scale. Okay, like this, and I think we have to make this a little bit longer like this. Okay, I think like this is enough for this shape. Now what's going to do, I'm gonna apply the bevel and the shade smooth, and we're going to go to the edit mode, select this one, duplicate it and move it up like this. I think it's enough, and rotate it in the y-axis 100 degree. So we have that shape. I think it's a little bit big, so let's make it just smaller like this. Okay, now we have this shape. I'm gonna move it up a little bit, and we're going to set the origin to the geometry. Okay, so the origin is in the middle. Okay, now let's name this to container. Okay, now let's add another cylinder, which will be our glass, and let's move it right here, and let's scale it like this and like this. Okay, this is our glass. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna isolate it and remove this face and remove this face. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna give it a solidify modifier to give it a little bit of thickness like this. Okay, apply this solidify modifier, and what we're going to do, shade smooth, apply the shading, and we are good to go. Okay, now let's open the EasyRB Pro add-on, and let's name this to glass. Okay, or glass. Okay, maybe let's name it just GL, because we're gonna change the name later. Okay, now let's go to the fracture tab, and let's fracture this glass. Okay, we need to be fractures, so let's press fracture. You can choose here the limit of your pieces. I'm just gonna use 100, and let's press OK. And I think we need more, so what we're gonna do, I have to add some loops right here to get more smaller fragments. So I'm gonna just add some loops right here. I'm gonna delete them later, but for now let's just fracture it like this, and we got these fractures. I'm gonna move them right here. Okay, and we're going to go right here in the duplicate panel and press this blue button. We need to parent them to an empty, so let's press right here, and now as you see, we have an empty right here that can move all of those pieces together. Okay, it's a little bit easier to do it like this, and we can scale this empty like this to see it better. Okay, for now let's move those pieces right here, we don't need them right now, and let's work to this one. We need to see better. I'm gonna delete these loops because we don't need them right now. Let's delete them, and we can see inside the container like this. Okay, okay, let's save our project to maybe something like container 3 or something. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna add an empty that we're going to emit from. Okay, this is our empty. Okay, you can see it. Let's move it right here. Okay, down right here in this position. Okay, you can see it, I think. Okay, we have this empty, and maybe let's hide our glass so we can see better. We hide it our glass, we have this empty. Okay, now let's go to the RB emitter panel, and let's press select the empty and press emit. We have this collection. Okay, let's move our tennis ball to this collection. Press M and move it inside the green collection. Okay, like this. And now if we try to emit, it will emit these spheres like this. Okay, we don't need to emit like this, so what we're gonna do, we're going to change the collision type to sphere, and we're gonna press here to advance, and we're going to choose the circle shape, and maybe you give it 6 or maybe 7. 7 is gonna be enough for our case. Select the empty. Let's decrease the size of the emitter. Maybe we just use 1 meter for now, and we're going to decrease the velocity in the z. We're gonna use just 1 value of 1. I think it will be enough. Let's try it first. Let's see. I think the size is a little bit big and the spheres are a little bit big. Okay, so we have two options. Either we scale the sphere or we scale the container, but this will be a little, I think it's too much work. Let's just scale the sphere down like this. Okay, let's just scale the sphere, apply the scale. Now we're gonna just decrease the size of the emitter to 0.5, and let's select the glass, hide it again, select this empty, emit again. Okay, maybe the size need to be a little bit smaller, 0.3, emit again. Okay, this is nice. I think that size is okay. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna select this empty, go right here in this tab, and you're gonna rotate this empty. Okay, in this, and we're gonna give it a driver. Just type hashtag frame slash 30. This will make the empty rotate like this. Very cool. Now we're gonna emit from the empty, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna offset the start frame a little bit to 10, and we're gonna emit until frame 250 maybe. Okay, we're gonna emit each 2 frames, and let me see something before we do the bigger emission. So if the emission is a little bit okay, I think the velocity is a little bit higher, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna decrease the velocity a little bit to 0. Maybe 5. Let's try 0.5, and let's emit maybe 0.8. Okay, I just want them to be a little bit slower. Okay, this is nice. This is what we are looking for. Okay, nice. Now what we're gonna do, we just increase the count to 500. Okay, just in one time we're gonna emit 500. Let's save our project again. Now let's go right here in the bake and make sure you have enough room for the simulation. Let's make it 500. Increase the cache size to 500. And what we're gonna do right now, we're just going to emit. Or before we emit, we have to make the glass, to give the glass, this glass, we're gonna give it a rigid body passive. Don't make it active. If you make it active, the collision will not work correctly. Make it passive and give it a mesh collision type like this. And because it's glass, I think we don't need a lot of friction. So let's make the friction 0 point something like this. Okay. And this is enough for our glass. And for our base or container, we're gonna make it a rigid body passive, and we're gonna choose the mesh type. Okay. And you can leave the friction as it is. Just make sure it's in the mesh collision. If you use the convex hull, it's gonna explode. So the simulation will not work correctly. So just choose the mesh. Okay. And I'm gonna show you the difference right now. Let's just hide our glass and select the empty, and let's emit. Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit because it's we have 500 objects to emit. Okay, now let's see our emission. It's looking very nice. Okay, very nice emission. Now as you see, we have the glass containing those emissions. Okay, that's very cool. Now see, if we try to change the glass to convex hull, it's gonna explode like it's see, because the convex hull will fill the gaps and make the objects collide right here. Okay, so this is why we use the mesh. And also, if you try to use convex hull to this container, it's going to fill that middle gap and it will explode again. So this is why we use the mesh collision, because it's accurate and it will give us this good result. And make sure you have enough sub-steps, because if you have one sub-steps right here, it is gonna make the objects go through the mesh sometimes. And I think value of 10 is enough for our simulation. Now as you see, our container is not fully filled or fully what we're gonna do, we're gonna emit one more time, or we can scale the container down a little bit. So we have two options: either we emit one more time to have more objects, or we scale down our container a little bit. And I think I am going to do them both. I just move this object a little bit like this, and let's scale this glass like this. Okay, now what we're going to do, let's hide our glass and apply the scale and hide our glass. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to hide that collection of the emission, the first emission. Okay, we're gonna hide it. Now let's select this empty and let's go, or before we hide it, let's see first where it ends. It ends right here in the 160. Okay, so we're going emit to emit from 100, maybe 50, and to 220. Okay, let's emit one more time. Maybe the total count this time is gonna be like 300. Okay, 300, and let's emit. Make sure to select the empty before you emit, otherwise you will get wrong emission. Okay, now I think this is will enough to fill this container. Okay, okay, that's very cool. So let's increase our timeline a little bit. Okay, so let's see our emission like this. And we forgot something a little bit important, but it's okay, we can do it. What we forgot is to add a little bit of friction right here. I forgot to make the friction 0.5 and the bounciness 0.3. But it's okay, because we always can change it from right here. You can just select those objects and you press Alt to change the friction or the bounciness from here. And why we need a little bit of friction? Because as you see, the balls right now does not rotate because they don't have any friction. As you see, they don't rotate, just moving like they are glasses or something. But watch, let me show you in the texture. you will see that those balls does not rotate. Okay, they have only one rotation, which not good. So what we're gonna do, we're going to select go to the end of the timeline like this, and we're going to select them all, go to the RB physics, and we're gonna make the friction maybe 0.5, the bounciness 0.3, and we're gonna decrease the speed loss to 0.5 like this, and the rotation loss to 0.5. Okay, this is will be I think good enough to make them rotate. Let's see. Now as you see, they will rotate. Okay, see the rotation, and this is very nice. Okay, cool. Okay, as you see, that's what we are looking for. Now let's do something. Okay, now as we see, the emission ends right here. Okay, we need to break the glass in that position. Okay, maybe 260. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna select our glass, and in this frame we're gonna go one frame before, maybe 259, and give it put a keyframe for the scale. Okay, for the scale we're gonna put keyframe right here. Okay, now let's move one frame and scale it to 0. Okay, like this. Now let's see this simulation. Okay, like this. Now this glass will disappear in this frame. Okay, like this, causing the balls to fail. Okay, to fall, I mean. That's very nice. That's what we are looking for. We're gonna add a ground in a moment. To add a ground, just press right here in this, and we have a ground. Okay, now let's see. It's going to fail, and in the frame 260, this glass will disappear, causing the balls to fail. Okay, very nice, very cool. Now what we are going to do, we're going to select those one. If we select them, if you press E, you get this pie menu. You can select by name or by vert. So we're going to select by name, and this is why I said we need to change the glass name later, because if we try to select those pieces, it will select the glass because they have the same name. So let's select the glass and change its name to glass like this. Okay, it's a kind of smart way to get the selection very fast. So we're gonna select them by name like this, and we're going to press E again and give them rigid body active. Okay, now as you see, they will fall like this, and we don't need that to happen. So we need them to fall in the frame 260. Okay, the frame that the glass disappear, we need them to fall. Okay, like this in this frame. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the kinematics tab and press right here set kinematics. Okay, we're gonna press set kinematics, and they will fall in this frame. Okay, make sure you to select them all before you set kinematics. Now they will fall in that frame. Okay, this is what we are looking for. Now what we're going to do, uh, we're going to change the, or we're going to switch the visibility between the glass and those objects. Okay, or those pieces. How we're gonna do that? We're gonna select them, then select this one. The glass has to be the last one selected. Okay, now let's type the frame. We know it's 260 like this, and we're just going to press switch. Okay, now as you see, they are disappeared, but when the glass disappear, they will show up. Okay, let's see now. Okay, that's very nice. Now we can just move them like this with this empty. You can move them right here in the middle. Okay, let's see. Okay, in the frame 250, they will break like this. Okay, but I think we have to scale them down a little bit. Let's maybe scale them before we do the okay, let's remove the switch. Okay, we remove the switch. We have to select them a little bit and scale them. I didn't scale them before, but it's okay. You can scale them like this. Okay, now let's switch them again. This, okay, let's select them, select this one and switch visibility. Now let's move this empty in the middle. Okay, like this in the middle, and now it will work perfectly. Let's see. Okay, it's a little bit confusing, but I think you got the idea. You just have to switch the visibility, and it's kind of hard to select them if they are over each other. And now, as you see, it will break in this frame. Okay, 260, it will break like this. But as you see, the object is not breaking really like how we want. So what we're gonna do, we're going to add a sphere. Okay, in the middle, let's hide our glass first. We're going to add a sphere. Okay, let's add a UV sphere and move it right here. Okay, and we're going to scale it down a little bit. Let's go to the frame 260. Okay, and let's scale it like this. Apply the scale. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a keyframe in 260, 60 like this. You put keyframe like this. Okay, now go to the frame before 290 or 259 and press S0. Okay, we scale it down like this. Okay, now we're gonna duplicate that keyframe like this. Okay, so it's gonna be very fast like this. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to give this one a rigid body passive and with animated. Okay, or rigid body active, sorry. We're gonna give it rigid body active with animated. Okay, and now let's see the effect. Let's see the effect. Okay, so it's gonna fill those glasses like this, or fill that glass, then it will collide with them a little bit. It's kinda make them explode, and that's why we're going to add that sphere. See, it will give us this effect of exploded. Okay, and it's very nice. And I think we have to make the position a little bit because now it's exploding from the middle. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select this one and move it down a little bit, because I think let me explain this. I'm not sure, but if the pressure is coming down like this, I think there is another pressure will force the glass to break from right here like this. I think from this position. I'm not sure, I'm not expert in the physics, but if the pressure coming down from right here, it's gonna like explode. I'm not sure if it is correct or no, but correct me if I'm wrong. But either it will explode from right here or right here. Okay, so we're gonna just choose it will explode from down. So what we're gonna do, gonna select this sphere in the edit mode and move it down a little bit. Okay, you can choose to explode it from up, but it's okay for our case. Let's see this simulation again. I hope you understand me, because it starts to be a little bit confusing, but it's okay. I think the technique is clear. Okay, I think it stop right here. Okay, we should make it explode like here from 240, but it's okay, we can add it a little bit of emission later. Okay, so now that sphere will explode them like this. Okay, let's see the simulation again, and this looks very nice. Okay, let's just go 230 for the sake of time. Okay, this is nice. We messed up a little bit because it's stop right here. We should make it in 230, but that's too much work for us, so we're gonna do it the lazy way. We're gonna select our empty And now we're gonna remove this one from that collection to the to other collection. Okay, just move this sphere, and we're gonna hide it from the render. Okay, so we're going not to see it in the render view. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're going to emit again. And it's okay, we're going just to select our empty, make sure that we have only one object in the emitted object, which is the tennis ball. Let's select our empty, and let's we say emit from this time from 100, where this emission ends. Okay, let's see where this emission ends. So this emission ends right here. Okay, in the 200, almost 240. Okay, so let's emit from 240 to 260, and let's increase the count this time to 300. Okay, let's make sure it has enough room to emit all of those objects, and let's just emit them, and let's hope it's this time it will look good. Okay, okay, there is a pressure right here. It's looking good, and it's looking very nice. Now we can just hide that sphere because we don't need it, and that's, I think, the effect. Okay, it's looking like this, and it will explode from right here. Okay, very nice. Now we can unhide our glass, and we're going to add a little bit of lighting and materials, and we are done almost. So let's add a background first. You can add just a plane, and make sure that you don't put it in this collection. Okay, I always leave it open, and each object, if you put the object right here and try to emit again, it will emit from the what called the emitter. Okay, so let's make sure that we have a new collection. Let's make a new collection and name it maybe background bg. Okay, and let's put our plane right here. Okay, so this is some problems you may run to, so make sure to not do that. Don't be stupid like me. Anyways, let's see. Now we have our background. Let's add a new collection, call it lt for lights. Lt. And okay, let's split the view, and let's make this like this. Okay, now what you can do also, you can add the, as I did in the original one, I add a cylinder like this, and like just to make it a little bit realistic, because this one, when the glass break, it will stay in the air. It's like not connected to the base. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just add this this cylinder light here, like this, and we're going to give it rigid body passive, and we're going to choose the apply the scale, and we're going to choose the cylinder shape for the collision. Okay, and we're going to duplicate it and move it right here. Okay, okay, nice. Now what we can do, we can just duplicate it one more time, scale it like this in the z axis, like this, move it right here, just to add it a little bit of detail. Okay, it's not really necessary, but I'm going just to do it like this and move it up like this. Okay, and this is to make it like it's stuck or it's holding this object. It's a little bit of modeling, but who really cares? You can do whatever you want, and you can of course improve this modeling. I'm not going to spend really much time improving that because I really did the old one. So what we're gonna do right now is just a little bit of materials and lighting. So let's go to the shading, and we're going to add let's move those objects to the old collection, and let's add some lighting. In the original one, I made like I spent almost 3 hours to light to make sure that the light is great. But in this one, I'm not gonna spend 3 hours, man. I'm tired. I'm just gonna add two lights like this, and one light in the background like this. Okay, and let's make this glass. Let's give it a material of glass. Okay, and let's make sure that the IOR is 1.1, and let's see now the effect. And the roughness we need it to be 0.1. Okay, like this. And okay, nice. Okay, this is looking cool. What we can do, we can just duplicate another light and put it in front of this, rotate it a little bit like this, so we can see the balls, and it's going to break like this. Okay, let's select those pieces, select them like this, and give them the glass material. Okay, let's name this one to, where is our material? Let's name it to glass, and press Ctrl L and link materials. Okay, now they are have the same glass materials, and you can see the full effect right now. As you see, the lighting is not great, but I'm gonna show you original file how I light that scene to take an idea. Okay, as you see, you have this effect. We really should to bake it right now because the effect is looking nice, so I think we have to bake it. I think I forgot to do something, uh, which is to make a little bit of slow motion right here. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna keyframe the simulation speed right here. Okay, I'm gonna add a keyframe right here, and let's go maybe 3 keyframes and make it 0.1, and add another keyframe, and we're gonna duplicate it maybe until 200, and let's make it just 30 frame. Okay, like this. Okay, and we're going to make it back to 286. We're gonna make it 1. Okay, and insert a keyframe. Now we got a little bit of slow motion when the glass will explode. Okay, now let's try again. Okay, we forgot to do that, but it's okay. And as you see, we have this slow motion right here. It's looking very cool, like this. You can also move it a little bit to be right here. Like this. I think it's looking fine, but let's see it. Or maybe you have to make it a little bit here like this. Okay, in this frame. Let's run simulation again. You can choose a better timing to make the slow motion, but I think you got the idea. Like this, going to explode in slow motion, then it goes back to the default speed. Yep, like this. And that's it. This is the effect that we made. Okay, that's it. You can play with the materials, the lighting, put a camera. Let's save this one. I'm gonna go back to the our original file to show you the lighting. Okay, so this is my lighting setup for that one. I added some like planes and give them an emission material like this to make this lighting in top, as you see, those lighting. And I made like very complex lighting setup. I added this one and I added like 4 or 6 lighting to make the glass looking cool. And what I did to the glass, I made this material. Let me show you. So I used this alpha texture to make a little bit of scratches in the if you can see, I added a little bit of scratches to the glass to make it a little bit realistic. So just a texture of scratches and plug it in the color ramp with these settings to the roughness, and this is our glass material. Okay, you can see the settings. The IOR is 1.2, and yep, this is our material. And what I did, as you know, I played with the material, add some great materials of the metalliness, and what I add also, I add this light right here inside. It just emission light to light the balls a little bit. Okay, and what I add else, this ground, I give it that material, just a grid texture. It's a grid texture and a little bit of bump node and a little bit of the same technique of these scratches. I used another alpha in the roughness to make that a little bit of this effect of wet effect. If we remove it, as you see, it's looking like this, but if we add it, it's gonna give that effect. Okay, so that's really what I used. And yep, guys, that's I think all what I did in this project. This was a small project to test the add-on that it can make your life easier working with the rigid body physics. And I think I added another emission in the end right here. Okay, when the glass will break, I just add another emission in this from frame like 350 to 340 maybe, just to make it a little bit fun. You can do that, of course. And yep, that's it. I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you learned something, and more tutorials are coming, so stay tuned. Thank you guys, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.